costs
I
per
call them,
job.
yeah, direct costs. So that would be most people. It's going to be your labor costs, your material costs, maybe some other like specific marketing costs that you may have spent on that job to get that job specifically. You may include like an ad that somebody clicked. Some people put that
You
note
would include that in direct cost and
if it
not as
is
overhead
if it
if it's
is
trackable.
if it's trackable. Like if you just like I have a budget of $5,000 for pay-per-click ads, that's your overhead cost. You have a marketing budget. But if you know somehow that you have a direct cost, there's a way to include that in that. And I'm not going to
That be
pay.
would be better for everyone just be kind of on the same page and just not include that just for so everyone's talking about the same numbers or no?
I'll disclaim I do things differently than most people because I want to know exactly how much because I don't pay 10-50-50 split. That affects you guys who pay 10-50-50 split way more. And this is the thing. This is why another reason we talked about this in another episode. 10-50-50 split does not work for most people. It does work for some, but for most people, it doesn't work because they don't understand the direct cost it took to get that job, to get that contract signed. But that's a whole
Okay.
other thing. But let's just go.
Well,
Direct
I was going
cost.
to ask about commission. That was actually another question I had is commission. So would you count that before gross profit? Would you take commissions out before gross profit? But then some commission is based off of profit, right?
Correct. Correct. That's what I'm saying. 10-50-50 split is based off profit. I don't like that because I am very transparent with my entire team. They all have access to my QuickBooks. I have no problem showing the books. The problem runs into when people are like, well, I didn't have this ability to affect this job or this. I'm like, it's still part of the overhead. Like it's still part of that actual. That's why I do 10% off the top. I don't want to have all those conversations with people that like every single job. I don't know what it is. Every single job, 10% off the top. We have ProLines proposals protecting our profit margin, our gross profit margin. So we never go under that. And if we do, for like if a salesperson is giving away a discount, then they're going to take a hit off of their commission, which is fine because we're going to protect the company. That's not me protecting me, it's protecting the company to make sure that the company makes profit on every single job. That's different for everybody else. But for me, I'm going to protect the company first with our profit margins.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. So specifically for you and your company, what items are you taking out to calculate your gross profit
So it's
on
basically,
every job? I know some jobs, like you said, you might
yep,
have be able to attribute a certain cost, but across all your jobs, like what is your in Proline, we have your budgets. Like what are those
yep.
cost items in your budgets?
The biggest things are material, labor, commission, and then we do have a marketing cost. Like we'll include, we want to see this for the budget just for our team, but like let's say we sell a $25,000 contract. Well, we have allocated in there. We don't separate like gutters because the only other trade that we do is gutters. So we're going to have a gutter cost in there that's directly related to that contract total revenue. It's really important because we're not going to have two contracts with to track the roofing contract and the gutter contract. We just want to know, okay, this is how much profit we're making on these things. And then there is a marketing line item. And that is if we run a specific neighborhood blitz and we run like an 8-wave campaign for that job, we will run it for X number of jobs. It could be several $100s. That's why we want to know it. We want to know like this is what it took to get this one job with these postcards. And there's a lead source track to that. The customer has indicated that they received a postcard. That's why we want to track that because we want to know how many postcards you have to send to get this new customer. We need to know that. And we're not just sending postcards consistently every month at a same rate. It's only for these specific jobs.
Okay. So for
That's what I do.
on your budgets for every job, you have marketing. So you are taking out commission before you calculate gross profit. You don't calculate gross profit before commission.
Uh, so it automatically commission is going to be in there. Yes, correct. That's correct. So commission takes away our gross profit. So we have a certain floor for gross profit. And if the floor goes below there, then the commission is the one that takes the hit. Because a lot of
So
times it's really large jobs, so the quantity of money that sales reps are getting is a lot of money. So if they're going to make 8% versus 10% commission, they're still making thousands of dollars, but the company makes sure that it hits its profit margin.
So I think that's a really important distinction is people just kind of throwing around profit. There's really three types of profit. There's profit margin, there's
Mhm.
profit, there's gross profit, and then there's net profit. And so gross or profit margin is going to be on your quote when you're quoting the job. That's really just going to be labor and materials, right? Because that's the only things being factored into the actual quote itself.
Yeah.
So profit margin's just based on labor and materials.
And also, we've had a comment about this about markup versus margin.
Yeah,
Our
super
CRM is
important.
based on margin, not markup.
Not markup.
So
Yeah.
if you just take 100, if you multiply something by 1.5, it's around 33% margin.
But
We
that's a 50% markup,
markup 50% markup,
but it's
but
not, but it's different than margin.
it's a 33% margin. You need to
The
understand.
calculation is a lot different too.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
markup is like so the easy way to think about markup, 100% markup is doubling the price. So if you have $100 and you do 100% and you do 100% markup, that'd be $200. But if you want, you can't have 100% margin because it approaches zero. But if you wanted if you wanted a 99% margin, then that $100 item is now going to be like $9,999,999,000,000 or whatever. That's how you get that like near. That's not the accurate number, but the whatever. If you want a 30% margin, you have to actually have it increases it to that'd be increased to like $170 or something like that, because it's like calculated backwards because you want at the after the transaction takes place, the margin is the percentage of the total transaction value that you want in profit.
Mhm.
So no, that screws over a lot of people if they think that
Me
they're
included.
calculating
Yeah, me included. I
markup.
was marking up like for a couple years. I was like, why don't I have any money? It's because it was markup, not margin.